Welcome to a sunny and warm Knockhill racing circuit for the second round of the Celtic Speed Scottish Mini Cooper Cup. And on pole position is the man that we expect to see on pole position at the moment, is the number 11 car of Morgan Murray. Pole position last time, 2 wins and then a disaster in race number 3. Morgan, just big jump there, said we expect to see you on pole position now, but we kind of do. Joint championship leader. Really good race weekend last time out, but it went horribly wrong in the last race.
Yeah, Robbie locked up the brakes or lost all his brakes, so there's no problem there. If he locked up the brakes, I'm not going to have a fuss about it. He came over, he apologised, so it's good for him.
You didn't need it though, did you? It was going so well.
Yeah, I think I was in 4th place at the time, so it was good for the points as well, obviously, and I would have probably been leading it then, the championship. But hey, it's new weekend, and let's get another pole positions.
It started well, but the times are so close. I mean, it's like a 1/10 of a second between the top 6 or something. Everybody's within the same kind of bracket here. No one's going to get away. That's what you want to do, though.
Yeah, I mean, it is really close. It's good to see it's close. It just shows you how close this championship is. But yeah, it's great to be in pole, and I just hope I can pull away from the rest of the guys.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Let's go back the way, and we're going to turn down here. I want to keep moving, and I'm going to speak to Dylan O'Donnell, who won his first race. Dylan, let's have a chat with you. You won race 3 after Morgan ended up in the ditch, but you were going to win it anyway. You were out front, and now you've stuck it on the front row for the main race 1 of the day. Things are looking good.
Yeah, qualifying, we tried our hardest. We just need to see how the first race goes, obviously. A lot of quick guys around us.
Times are so close.
Oh, very close. Yeah, we just need to keep it cool and keep it on the track.
Get stuck in, you better get in your car.
Yeah, cheers.
We'll keep going. Let's move around this way. If you come around this side, it's quite tight, but I'm going to close Ian Munro's door. This is Ian Munro, who almost won the championship last year. He came so incredibly close, it didn't work out. Round 1, I think it was a little shady for your standards, but you've got it back on track now, 3rd on the grid.
Yeah, last race was it was alright. Nothing massively wrong with it, but I wasn't going to win it really, was I?
You've got a good chance here. I've said to the 2 guys so far how close the times are. Nobody's going to get away. This is going to be, I hope, a classic mini race.
Well, I hope so. The thing is, when it's too close, no one can get in to make the move, so I don't know, we'll see. Last time it was just head to tail, so hopefully there's a bit more action this time.
Good stuff, good luck. Let's keep moving. We're going to go this way. You have nothing to trip over. Keep coming, keep coming. I want to move back to a man who's joining us. In fact, we'll speak to Hannah Chapman here. She pulls her net back so we can get in to speak to her. Hannah featured and took her first win last year. Hannah, a quiet first round for you, but here for 5th on the grid. This is a good place. You can make some serious points from here and get this championship on track.
Yeah, I really wasn't happy with round 1, so I'm so glad to be a bit further up today. I just want to have a clean race and just stay out of trouble, but also want to progress and move forward.
Make it exciting.
I'll try.
1 more. Keep coming. This man here, Kyle Reid, missed the first round. He works offshore. Every time he turns up, he wins. But qualifying, if I can fix my microphone, qualifying hasn't gone to plan for Kyle. I know he's not happy. Kyle's 6th place. The times are so tight. Qualifying didn't go to plan, but I know what you're like and you want to win this.
Yeah, I'm just going to go out and do my best. Qualify. I just didn't put the lap together. But I'll go out here and do my best. That's all I can do.
Good luck.
Good, thanks.
And with that, Minis race number 1 heading out on track.
Joe Tanner, you're a star, thanks mate. Morgan Murray starts on pole, second meeting out of 2 as you've heard. Dylan O'Donnell alongside from Ian Munro and Dominic Wheatley. Then it's Hannah Chapman and Kyle Reid, row 3. Row 4, John Duncan and Neil Robertson. Chris Reid and Mark Geraghty on row 5. Row 6, Michael Weddell and Robbie Dalgleish. Mike Courts and Alan Patterson, row 7, followed by Craig Blake and Callum Dryborough. Then it's Chris Blackhall and Adam Kindness. Johnny Dreelan and Taylor Shand, followed by Andrew Bell and Ross Wilkinson. Newcomers pole is Dominic Wheatley. Second in the newcomers class in qualifying, John Duncan from Neil Robertson, because we do have effectively 2 races going on, newcomers and overall. Lights are on and off they go, and round 4 of the Celtic Speed Scottish Mini Cooper Cup 2017 is underway, and a good start by Morgan Murray in white with the Saltire atop of the car. Dylan O'Donnell to his outside, already making up 1 place, and up into 3rd from 4th on the grid goes Dominic Wheatley. I'm sure I'm going to call him Des at some point, as Dylan O'Donnell looks round the outside line. That could cost him, because Wheatley is going to pounce. The top newcomer goes through on the inside line. Ian Munro in yellow is following. Everybody off to a great start. They've all survived McIntyres or Scotsman and Butchers, and indeed the chicane now. So a really good clean start to round 4 of the championship. We've had 3 different fastest lap setters so far this year. Somebody kicking up the dirt, but they all survived. Great to welcome Kyle and Chris Reed back, the 2 of them together on track. The green and white car followed with black trim, followed by the red and white car with black trim. The 2 Reeds, as Dominic Wheatley still holds second. Ian Munro goes to the outside line of Dylan O'Donnell. Dylan seems to be the driver who's losing momentum on his starting position. Through goes Taylor Shand, followed by Andrew Bell down towards the back. Taylor, one of the 2 lady racers in this one. Hannah Chapman, the other one. And Taylor, the reigning ladies champion. Great move by Kyle Reed, who goes up now into 3rd place ahead of 33 Dylan O'Donnell. Then the 23 car of Ian Munro. Oh, and off goes Chris Reed. Chris Reed's into the tyre barrier, was hit there, I think, by Neil Robertson. And that is game over for Reed. First meeting of the season, on board with Neil. He's on the inside line there, gets squeezed over onto the grass, comes back on track, bosh, into the side of Chris Reed, who is out of the race. I suspect that damage is going to be enough to see Neil Robertson out of the race as well. Marshall's, as ever, very, very quickly on the scene to attend to Chris. Is that going to be a safety car? I'm not quite sure where Neil Robertson's car ended up. We go back to the race leader, and it is still Morgan Murray out front. Kyle Reed challenging on the outside line, dives back, thinks about trying to close the door on 33 Dylan O'Donnell, or maybe having a little nibble up the inside of Dominic Wheatley himself. Whatever happened, he decided there wasn't room. That was great awareness there by Kyle Reed, who stuck to the outside line, and he's going side by side with Dylan O'Donnell, who seems to be getting some race rhythm under his belt now, and he's up into 3rd place side by side with Reed, with Morgan Murray still out front. Dominic Wheatley, the Hartlepool man in the David Sleigh Racing prepared car, in 2nd place, and Murray, who's based in Fraserburgh, looks pretty good for this one, having taken that pole position. Kyle Reed in 3rd. Now, Kyle and Chris Reed, due to work commitments, couldn't do round 1 on the 9th of April, and they do selected rounds pretty much every year. As we pick up on Mike Courts in the 75 car, 3 very solid performances from Mike in April, 6th, 4th and 5th places. And he's a little bit further back. Waved yellows there at Clark, because off has got one of our front runners, and that is Ian Munro, who qualified in 3rd. Munro is out. You saw their right of shot, also the stricken car of Neil Robertson, and the safety car is out as a result to clear the 3 cars or move them to safety. Munro, Reed and Robertson, 3 very early retirements, and high profile retirements as well from round 4 of the championship. And it's Morgan Murray who has the job of pacing the runners, and more importantly has the job of trying to get away when the safety car situation is cleared. Lights are out on the safety car, and you can see Morgan Murray has just backed them up big time. The safety car may well be on his own here. Pulls onto the trioval and into safety, and I think Murray has nailed it now on the way down into the hairpin. So he will control the race. He hasn't, I don't think, pulled out as big a gap as one would like to on a safety car resumption. So it is Murray still there from Wheatley. Hannah Chapman in 3rd place after all the schmozzles are sorted out. Then Kyle Reed, followed by Dylan O'Donnell. Then the 24 car is John Duncan, another one of the newcomers racing with Minimax, but we've got a battle on for the leaders. Wheatley has a go, looks wide there. It's going to tuck back in. Hannah Chapman immediately in behind. Kyle Reed still there in 4th place at the moment. It's a cracking scrap that we've got going on. And, well, minus the 3 drivers off the laps 1 and 2. Everybody's still going. Taylor Shand busy chasing Andrew Bell. And this is Alan Patterson, who is immediately behind Callum Driver. Driver, in turn, is trying to hunt down Michael Weddle. He's immediately in front. Super view as we come down into the... Oh, and look at this outside line here for Dominic Wheatley. Kyle Reed passes Hannah Chapman. Dylan O'Donnell's in the mix. John Duncan is there as well, trying to move up and squeeze past as well as they go up the hill once again. Now, how much pressure has Morgan Murray got to soak up here? At the moment, I'm guessing most of the action is immediately in the group behind him, and he's not under too much pressure just now. There in 22 is Michael Weddle. The 30 car, Callum Driver, that's the man who was being chased by this guy. And we go on board with him again. Alan Patterson piling the pressure on and trying to get through at the moment. I don't think close enough to make a move, although if Callum keeps going wide and kicking up that dirt, he'll lose a little bit of momentum here and there and may well allow the Dalkeith based newcomer Alan Patterson to get on terms with him. But there's a great place change, I think, going on just ahead. Some super racing going on right ahead of them. You see the gravel clattering into the windows. Now Kyle Reid is on the inside line. I thought was going to attack, but now thinks, stuff it, I'll have a run up the hill. So Reid throws the car in and he's about to have a lunge up the inside line. Dominic Wheatley wants the outside line, so Reid here maybe being scuppered. He sees that Wheatley's coming through and Dominic Wheatley goes back into second position. Superb Celtic Speed Scottish Mini Cooper Cup racing. Kyle Reid, I guess in many ways the benchmark for these drivers. I think the most successful driver in terms of wins in the race. As we said, can't always do the races. 11 career wins as we pick up on Alan Patterson there again in that 12 car, still hounding Callum Dryborough. Here is Patterson getting very close now and gets his nose down the inside line, but Dryborough had slightly better run there through into the chicane and maintains position. Dryborough running in 10th place, so this is all about getting into the top 10 past the stricken car on the right of shot. That was Neil Robertson. So Robertson, after the look at that, 3 wide down the main straight on the grass, there goes John Duncan, and now in front, incredibly, past 2 cars on that lap. Kyle Reid is in front here in round 4, his first race of the year. Dominic Wheatley in second. Welcome back to Knockhill. We're in car with Chris Blackhall looking at the rear end of Adam Kindness, the 55 machine, coming down into the hairpin. Blackhall looks around the outside line. This could be about a run up the inside line, which I think he's going to take now on the Aberdonian as they climb up the hill. So Blackhall looking to make a position, which I think he managed to. As you can see now, we've got the 11 car Morgan Murray from pole down in 3rd place, coming under pressure from Dylan O'Donnell. O'Donnell in 4th position, challenging hard. Then it's Hannah Chapman, followed by Mark Geraghty in 67. 91 in red is Robbie Dalgleish. It's Kyle Reid out front from Dominic Wheatley. Wheatley must be wondering what he can do to get in the lead. And Kyle Reid, a multi-race winner in the championship, is really showing some very, very good pace once again. So Reid hoping to emulate what he did last year, and that is miss round 1, come back in round 2, the second event of the year, bag all 3 races and then waltz away with the championship lead. Big honest contact there in behind. Morgan Murray getting tagged, but I think has managed to survive it. Now, was that Dylan O'Donnell possibly who was involved there? Murray still 3rd, and going all over the grass is Robbie Dalgleish looking to try and force his way through. And on to the last lap now goes Kyle Reid. Reid and Wheatley surely are going to be safe. Has Morgan Murray been damaged in that? Mark Geraghty in 4th place. Dylan O'Donnell trying to squeeze through on the inside line and pass Hannah Chapman, who loses 1 place to O'Donnell, loses another place as well to Robbie Dalgleish. And Hannah, her finishing position is not going to reflect the race pace that she's had, or the qualifying pace. She was 5th in qualifying and now drops down into 7th place. John Duncan is chasing in 8th. Callum Dryborough is next, coming under pressure, I think, from Michael Weddle. But here is the race leader, Kyle Reid, who is looking for his 12th win. Are we going to see Dominic Wheatley challenge him? I don't think Dominic is close enough. Goes for the wide sweep into the hairpin and then up the hill. So Wheatley here, this is all about bagging points. 2 seconds and a 6th place in event 1. He bags a second here, but Kyle Reid takes the win. Wheatley second, then it's Murray, Geraghty, O'Donnell, side by side they go. Too close to call. The checkered flag is out. We haven't had any more retirements, which is great news. Across the line, Chris Blackhall with Adam Kindness chasing Mike Courts. So 12th career win. Would you believe the fastest lap going to Robbie Dalgleish, a 4th different fastest lap setter of the year. So Reid from Wheatley, Murray, Geraghty, O'Donnell, Dalgleish, Chapman, Duncan, Weddle and Dryborough. Alan Patterson 11th from Craig Blake. Chris Blackhall and Mike Courts. Adam Kindness 15th. Ross Wilkinson and Johnny Dreelan. Taylor Shand next from Andrew Bell.
Kyle Reid, welcome back. You were raging after qualifying. I knew you could do it. I told you to stay calm and not freak out, and you did the perfect job in that race. Nothing too hasty, one at a time, made your way to the front. It was perfect.
Oh, chuffed to be back first of all. I missed the last meeting being offshore. I just flew in from Angola on Friday night, so I'm chuffed to be back. First, I'd just like to dedicate this to my dad. Happy birthday today, so just chuffed a bit. It was a great race. Just came through, as you said. I picked one off at a time, waited for it to happen. It happened. Towards the end, Dominic was catching me. My tyres were just knackered because I was pushing so hard. But chuffed to get on the trophy. And
be a bit easier now on the second one, starting off pole position, obviously.
yeah, well, it makes a big difference. You know, even though my qualifying wasn't great, I was looking forward to coming through the pack. Sometimes it's proper racing. I mean, if you're coming from first position, you're just constantly watching your mirrors. But coming from 6, I was getting to use my racecraft and making positions up, and another first. I'm chuffed.
Well done.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Dom, well done. Championship leader for the first time ever, with the Morgan's issues, and a great second place as well. Kyle, obviously not really a concern, not doing the whole championship. A great drive.
Yeah, no, it was really good. The car was set up fantastically. The team did a great job, and yeah, it was just a matter of kind of trying to keep it clean. There was a lot of battling, and it was just a bit of scuffing, bit of scraping, but mini racing, and just get it to the end and get a second again. I
predicted a close one after how close the times were in qualifying. I was a little bit disappointed with how boring the first round was, but that was more like it. That's what we want to see, and not that much carnage considering.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think at one point there was about 6 of us all queuing up for first, and I think all of us managed to finish the race, which is surprising. So you know, it's great racing, and it's good to be championship leader now.
Well done.
Thank you.
Morgan Murray, thinking about the long game, points make prizes. You had a lot of damage. When I saw the car after the race, I realised just how lucky you were to make it to the end of that.
Yeah, I mean, tyres got a few gouges out of it. The first corner, first lap, Dylan came into me. I don't know what happened. The tracking just went miles off. The steering wheel was just half a turn out, so it was going up straight, just trying to dig. But I held it off, defended a good bit, and managed to get third place. So yeah, I'm delighted with that.
It's good points. I think Dom takes the championship lead by beating you by 1 bit, but we're talking 3 or 4 points here. It's early doors.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a long season to go ahead.
And you're not parked in the gravel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm in the podium. So yeah, the points are very close. Here's hoping next race the car's set up again, and we get more straight line speed this time.
Well done.
Thank you.
Hannah, well done. Back where you belong at the front, fighting, hand gestures. I could see the rage inside the car, but getting stuck in, and that's what we want to see.
Yeah, it's back to the old Hannah, hopefully. I've got quicker again, which is the main thing, because round 1 I just wasn't happy at all. So I've got the aggression back, but I just made a massive mistake and overtook 2 cars under yellows. I thought, I couldn't believe my luck, why are they going so slow? And then I realised what Kyle was waving at me, all angry, and then I was waving back thinking he was mad at me for something else. So it was crazy. It was a good race to get stuck in and actually fight.
And we're going to see a win today?
I'll try my best. I can't promise.
Well done.
Thank you.
Minis race number 2, and the sun continues to shine. On pole position is race 1 winner, obviously starting where he left off on pole position, and I'll have a really quick chat with Kyle. Kyle, this is more like it. Pole position, you can do something from here.
Yeah, it's good to be back up the front again. A good race last race. This time I'm just going to try and do the same, consistent, and keep it going to get another first place.
Good luck.
Thank you very much, guys.
We'll move one further back. Dominic Wheatley, championship leader at the moment. Slim championship leader. Dom, front row, this is all going pretty well.
Yeah, you can't complain with the front row, can you? So hopefully I'll be able to keep with Carl off the start and push him and try and get that win, because I'm getting a bit sick of that second place. But at the end of the day, I don't think he can do the full championship, so I've got to look at the long game as well and keep that in the back of my mind.
Good luck.
Thank you.
One more, Morgan Murray. Morgan, championship leader as we came into it, just slipped slightly behind. Not really on your mind at the moment though, you're out there to win races.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to try and get on the podium again. It's a long year ahead, so here's hope we can collect some more points and keep it consistent.
Cars all sorted?
Yeah, definitely.
Good stuff. Okay, we're going to go right the way back now. We've got a bit of a walk. I want to speak to a new face to the championship as we walk past Mark Geraghty, Dylan O'Donnell. Dylan was so upset with himself after the mistakes he made in the first one. He was almost in tears actually, I'll embarrass him, but he was quite upset. So I expect a good result from Dylan in this one. But I want to speak to Michael, I'm going to say Weddle, hopefully I'm pronouncing it properly. Just a young lad. Michael, welcome to the Scottish Minis. I missed you at the first round, but you've come from karting, jumped into, you're on the right-hand lane, so you're reasonably close.
It's a good start so far, mate. I've been given this opportunity by AP Auto Centre and Minimac taking the most of it so far, just trying to get used to the racing there. That first race was a bit mental to what I'm normally used to in karting, so just need to try and stick the elbows out a little bit and stand my own ground.
What's the plan, to move forward or just to maintain and stay out of trouble? Are you going to get stuck in?
Well, I mean, I'm right behind the Minimax team, so I've got Hannah right in front of me, John to the next, so just the plan is just to try and move forward, get myself in that reverse grid mix and see if we can take it from there.
Good luck and try to enjoy it.
Oh, definitely. Enjoying it's no problem whatsoever.
And with that, I'll hand it to Richard. Minis race number 2 head now on track.
Thanks, Joe. Michael Weddle, 2 top 10s on the bounce. He had a top 10 in the reverse grid race from the last meeting. Kyle Reid, though, on pole from Dominic Wheatley, then Morgan Murray and Mark Geraghty. Dylan O'Donnell from Robbie Dalgleish and Hannah Chapman. John Duncan, that man, Michael Weddle, and Callum Dryborough, followed by Alan Patterson and Craig Blake. Chris Blackhall from Mike Courts. Adam Kindness and Ross Wilkinson, row 8, from Johnny Dreelan and Taylor Shand. Andrew Bell and Ian Munro, row 10, followed by Chris Reid and Neil Robertson. The grid based on the results of race 1. Therefore, Messrs Munro, Reid and Robertson off the back of the grid with a fair amount of work to do. It really can punish you if you have mechanical problems or an incident in the first race of this 3-race format that we have here in the Scottish Minis. And we'll see what Munro, Reid and Robertson can do. Lights are out. Kyle Reid gets away well. Dominic Wheatley, just looking at the lap times, was quicker than Kyle Reid on his best lap in race number 1. So he's going to be keen for it. Moggs Murray is up for it as well in white, trying to tuck in the top 4 altogether. Mark Geraghty, I think, has seeded that 4th is probably not too bad for him at the moment. He was a double podium finisher at the end of last year. Coming up as well as Robbie Dalgleish. Wheatley goes wide, and look how much ground Wheatley's lost in the number 4 car. Incredible how just a little slip or a bounce or a move or a knock can drag you right the way back. Ross Wilkinson up there ahead of Taylor Shand, who looks a little bit battle scarred as well, on board with Ian Munro. And this is what I was saying, Munro, one of the championship front runners, has to work his way through from the back of the field. I think he's past Taylor Shand. Immediately in front now is Ross Wilkinson, who's dicing with Adam Kindness, so a lot of traffic to deal with. Meanwhile, Kyle Reid thinks it's Christmas. Pipe and slippers on, ease away, and a good clear run of things at the moment. And the answer to where Dominic Wheatley was, side by side with Hannah Chapman. Chapman on the outside line. Neil Robertson getting stuck in as well in the number 10 car, trying to climb his way back through the field after retirement in race 1 as well. But it's Reid, then Murray. Mark Geraghty looks for 3rd place, side by side with O'Donnell, but Dylan O'Donnell, I think, had the slightly better run there, and Geraghty stays in 4th position. There is Mark, that immaculate 67 car. There are some real stunning liveries out there, as ever. Hannah Chapman losing a little bit of ground at the moment on Robbie Dalgleish as our second of 3 races starts to settle into a pattern. Dominic Wheatley's got a huge amount of work to do. He's up ahead at the moment of John Duncan, but Kyle Reid looking very comfortable indeed. And it's going to be more points here for Morgan Murray. Dylan O'Donnell is in 3rd place. Then a little bit of a gap back to Messrs Geraghty and Dalgleish, who seem to be the closest battle at the moment in this top 5. And Dalgleish just trying to work out whether he can get past the man who started in 4th place. Hannah Chapman is back in 6th, and we join Chris Blackhall looking at the back end of Alan Patterson. So we had onboards from Alan Patterson in race 1, and indeed we had onboards from Chris Blackhall in race 1 as well. This time he's chasing Patterson up and over the brow to head under the Beatson's Bridge and down into Duffers Dip, then Leslie's and Scotsman Corner as we continue our second race of the day. Chris Blackhall comes down through Leslie's in towards Scotsman Corner here, takes the apex, clips the hot dog a little bit, goes around, loses the back end onto the grass. He's going to try and keep it in control and very nearly comes back on track in front of the others, but gets it back on the grass, I think, to avoid, eventually comes to a halt and therefore under control. I think that was Michael Weddle that was off as well in shot 2. So we lost Taylor Shand as well. So we've lost 3 drivers from this race so far. Chris Blackwell, Michael Weddle and Taylor Shand. This is Craig Blake dicing with the blue car of Mike Courts. Then Ian Munro, followed by Alan Patterson. Then Neil Robertson in the number 10. The yellow car and the blue car, which is 2 cars behind the yellow machine. Remember, 2 of the 3 working their way through the field. The fastest driver of the 3 coming through is Chris Reid, who's made great progress as we look at John Duncan in 24. at the moment chasing Dominic Wheatley, who's showing some very, very good pace indeed in this race. Hannah Chapman is next from Callum Dryborough, then Chris Reed in the 29, and a gap back to Mike Courts, who's starting to come under pressure. Mike Courts from Ian Munro in yellow, and that blue car has got through now. So the number 10, Neil Robertson's got through, and he's got clear sight of this man, Ian Munro, who's challenging a relative newcomer, Craig Blake. See the yellow square with the black cross, new driver. And this is the inside line on Hislops, coming down in towards the hairpin, which would be the outside. Just looking in the mirror, and it looks like Blake is going to be past. Munro, I think, manages the move. Very good move indeed. He's going to pursue now the 75 car of Mike Courts up the hill. Here's the second place man. Morgan Murray is still there in second position. Kyle Reid still in front, but as you can see, the car we're looking at, the black and red with yellow car, 33, Dylan O'Donnell, has had some impressive results so far this year. As Joe said at the start of the programme, won the third race of our first meeting, backed up with 5th and 6th places in races 1 and 2. So Dylan looking to get back onto the podium, which is looking pretty good here. Down behind them is Mark Geraghty in the blue 67, the man from Perth. And here's the view from Neil Robertson now, who wants to do what Ian Munro did, a lap back. And is he going to take the same line? Yes, it looks like he is. Maybe a little bit further back than Munro was on the previous lap. Has a little bit of a squeeze through. Craig Blake has seen him. Side by side they go, down in towards the hairpin. You'll see the climb about to happen here. Oh, Blake goes back through, but he's going to run wide on the exit. And Neil Robertson goes back on the inside line to claim the place. Meanwhile, that's Chris Reed coming through, making super progress. Chris Reed challenging and passing Callum Dryborough. That was for 9th place. Onto the last lap of the second race, round 5 of the championship. Kyle Reid is out front. Dominic Wheatley, again, is faster than Kyle Reid. He's faster than everybody, Dominic. This one, he's got the fastest lap of the race so far. Morgan Murray second. Then Mark Geraghty. Dylan O'Donnell in third place, followed by Mark Geraghty, then Robbie Dalgleish and Dominic Wheatley. Hannah Chapman running in 7th place, then John Duncan. A little bit of a dirt being kicked up by Kyle Reid. Smokescreen maybe for the second place man at the moment, which is Morgan Murray. But all looks very good indeed for Kyle Reid, who with a win here will pick up career win 13, but a landmark 25th career podium. So he is by far and away, I think, the most successful driver in the championship, and he's going to salute the checker with a flash of the lights. Reid takes the win with Morgan Murray second, Dylan O'Donnell in third place. They come up the hill. Super drive by Chris Reid here from the very back into the top 10. Callum Dryborough next. There is Ian Munro in 11th. Neil Robertson across the line ahead of Mike Courts. Craig Blake is next. Then a trio, which is Johnny Dreeland, Alan Patterson, Adam Kindness, Ross Wilkinson and Andrew Bell, complete the 19 runners. Here's the result, but a little bit of controversy because Morgan Murray gained an unfair advantage according to the race officials. He is dropped from second on the road into 6th place, confirmation of Dominic Wheatley's fastest lap.
Kyle Reid, well done, yet another win. Well done, first of all. You were gone and then they started coming, then you started looking at them and then they started coming even more, but I think you had it under control.
I felt I did. I got out and I felt I just settled in my own little zone, and I was looking at my lap timer and the times were consistent, constant 103s, and then my last couple of laps I made a few little mistakes, maybe tyres were going off, and I looked at my mirrors and then I just started playing mind games with myself. Oh, he's coming. I just need to just keep looking forward. And
it's hard to do though.
Yeah, I know. A brilliant result. Another first place, coming back and getting another couple of wins is just awesome feeling.
Morgan Murray, well done. I know I said this at the first round. I've said it pretty much every time I've spoken to you that you're my championship favourite for this, and you're starting to drive like it as well. Really clever thinking race.
Yeah, I mean, I seen Kyle Reid in front of me. I think his tyres maybe went off, and I thought I was catching up on him, but I actually wanted him just to pull away a bit because he's not here, he's offshore, so he's me but not in the championship. So I thought if he pulls away and I take a second place, I'd be happy with that.
Dylan, that was much better. A good podium. I sort of tipped you for maybe even a win in that one. We had a wee chat in between races 1 and 2, and you weren't too happy with the way the first one went, but you drove a lot better there.
Yeah, I just had to try and keep it cool for that one. Obviously focus on points for the main championship. So yeah, I was just seen, obviously I couldn't catch Muggs for that one. He was quite far away, so it was like, yeah, try to keep a gap between me and Mark. Yeah.
Minis race number 3, perfect conditions. On pole position is Dominic Wheatley. Now Dom's had an up and down day. He got ran wide and he dropped down to 6th or 7th position, which has actually worked out in his favour now because it's put him at the front of the grid. Dom, I'm just saying what happened was unlucky at the time in race 2, but it's actually worked out as a pretty massive advantage now, putting you on pole position and your best chance for your first win here in race 3. Is there enough pressure in there?
Yeah, there's a bit of pressure. Yeah, what happened in the second race wasn't ideal, but I calmed down and it's worked out for the better, as you say. So hopefully from here I can stop getting the seconds and maybe get that win I'm after. But we'll see. We'll let the race play out and try and get the result.
The problem you've got with this as well is that because it's race 3, even if you can make a break, you're generally up against a safety car at some point. Am I making you feel better?
No, you're making me feel worse. I hadn't thought about that. Hopefully we don't get a safety car. Up to now, my pace at the end of the race has been fairly good. So even if that does come out, hopefully I have the pace at the end to keep it.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Okay, let's keep moving back. We'll go back 1 to Robbie Dalgleish. Robbie features quite strongly in this championship, but he hasn't really featured so far this weekend. Robbie, this has been a bit of a quiet weekend by your standards. We haven't really seen you much as yet, but you're on the front row, so you've got a good chance. Dom's never won before, you've never won before. One of you could be about to win your first race.
Yeah, it's been a pretty hectic weekend. Been in the middle of everything, starting qualifying 12th, came in for qualifying. I said to my dad, that felt pretty good. He says, oh, you're 12th, I think there's a second separating the top 17 drivers, which shows how good this championship is. But yeah, front row this time, so I've had 2 good starts in the first 2 races. I'm just going to go for it again. We're on the outside, I think. Don't tell him that, and see how it goes.
You've just reminded me of something. We saw you in the last race have an incident with Morgan Murray. I've not spoken to you since that. The word on the street, it was an ABS issue?
Brakes completely boiled, yeah, so I pushed the brakes and nothing happened. Unfortunately, Morgan was in the wrong place at the wrong time. So yeah, nothing I could do, unfortunately.
Good luck with this one.
Thanks very much.
Right, let's do one more. Could you open the door on this side for me, and we'll get our camera in there, and I'm going to speak to Mark Geraghty, if I pronounced it correctly. I think I did, didn't I? Mark, again, up and down weekend for you. You've got the pace. We've seen that last year, but this is a pretty good chance. Starting on the second row, 3rd position, you could be taking your first win. In fact, all 3 of you guys here on the front 3 positions have never won a race before.
Yes, as always myself, I kind of struggle with qualifying the morning, but once I'm in a wee bit of racecraft, try and pick my way through. But 2 solid 4ths so far the day, so no, I just try to get on the main podium. Dominic's been quick this beginning of the season, so hopefully I can work with Robbie in front, try and clear Dylan, because Dylan's quite quick as well, and just try and work together and then maybe try and pick them off. But no, I just try and do some clean, fair racing.
That's how I like it. Good luck. And with that, I'll hand it to Richard. It's the final time today. Minis race number 3 heading out on track.
Thanks, Joe. Dominic Wheatley, by my maths, leads the championship here. Robbie Dalgleish is alongside. Then it's Mark Geraghty and Dylan O'Donnell. Kyle Reid and Morgan Murray on row 3. Hannah Chapman followed by John Duncan, Chris Reed and Callum Driver completing the top 10. Then it's Ian Munro, Neil Robertson and Mike Courts, with Craig Blake alongside him on row 7. Johnny Dreelan, Alan Patterson, Adam Kindness, Ross Wilkinson, Andrew Bell, Chris Blackhall next from Taylor Shand and Michael Weddle. Again, 3 non-finishers from race 1 who've got work to do from the back of the field here in race number 2. A splendid view of Dominic Wheatley on pole position, with alongside him Robbie Dalgleish and then Mark Geraghty, all 3 of them looking for a first race win. The lights are on for round 6 of the championship, which gets underway now. Great start. Keep your eyes on double winner Kyle Reid. 5th place is where he won race 1 from, but he's down in 6th at the moment. Dominic Wheatley makes a great start, though, side by side, coming down into Duffus. Geraghty challenging, so too is Dylan O'Donnell. Morgan Murray is up ahead of Kyle Reid, and as on the grass goes Dominic Wheatley. Now is he going to come back on track? Yes, he does. The front three are through. Morgan Murray squeezes through, so too does Kyle Reid, but there's some midfield runners clattering in. Ross Wilkinson, I think, Adam Kindness and Craig Blake. You can see Adam Kindness parked up in the gravel. Not what we wanted to see. Is that going to be a red flag? At the very least, it is going to be a safety car. It's going to take a couple of laps, I would have thought, to clear that up. But Dominic Wheatley, I thought, was going to be in with a great shout of his first win as we watched John Duncan running second in the newcomers standings. Safety car deployed. Championship was led by Wheatley, with Dylan O'Donnell in second, Morgan Murray third in the standings. There is Dominic Wheatley's car, which is going to be recovered. Ross Wilkinson, the car nearest camera, nearest the Land Rover, and we'll have the resumption of hostilities for you here from Knockhill after the break. Safety car clear of the circuit, so it means that Robbie Dalgleish will lead them up the hill for the restart of this one. Ian Munro still making progress from Callum Dryborough, and then Hannah Chapman. Here we go then, across the line to go green. Third position is Dylan O'Donnell. Morgan Murray is in fourth place from Chris Reid, and then Kyle Reid following him, but the lead trio battling hard. Dylan O'Donnell, of course, won the reverse grid race at event number 1 back in April. We're back here on the 4th of June. Hope you can join us for that with rounds 7, 8 and 9. There is Neil Robertson. So the 3 retirees from race number 1 have made super progress, all of them up at the sharp end in this one at the moment, headed by Chris Reid, the red-white with black trim car, up ahead of Kyle Reid, chasing Morgan Murray. John Duncan immediately in behind. Duncan coming under pressure from Ian Munro, but Robbie Dalgleish at the moment looking pretty unflappable out front, driving a good restart after the safety car and soaking up the pressure from Mark Geraghty. Geraghty in turn, of course, has got pressure from Dylan O'Donnell. Here they come up the hill once again and over the brow. Mike Courts chasing Neil Robertson up the hill. Kyle Reid making a move on. No, having a look, just I think having a look at some clear air, maybe coming down the hill, and Morgan Murray tags the back end of Chris Reid, who's off and digs into the gravel. Chris Reid is off for the second time in 3 races. What a dismal weekend for him. It looks like Morgan Murray's car is perhaps damaged as a result of that as well. It won't have been intentional, we can say that for sure, but you do get contact in this close racing when the drivers are so evenly matched, and they were in qualifying. But sadly, it's game over again for Chris Reid. That car, though, may well cause a safety car again. Dylan O'Donnell on the inside line now of Mark Geraghty to take second place. Side by side into the hairpin. Kyle Reid in fourth. Then it's John Duncan following those guys as they go up the hill. Doesn't look like we've got the safety cars ready if needed. But at the moment, the organisers have decided not to do it. Out go the pit signals, and the racers probably won't know that car is off the circuit, but it's in a place that's a little bit precarious. It's there it is. You just saw a flash of it. So the drivers are past that and safe, and they're now aware that car is there. Kyle Reid goes wide. This is great actually, because it's allowing Robbie Dalgleish at the minute to get away. Mike Courts running a little bit stronger in this one than he did in the first 2 races, the 75 car. 14th and 13th, and he's running higher than that now, really getting on towards the form that we saw from him in round number 1. But now Dylan O'Donnell goes past. Lots of overtaking. This is because of yellow flags. Robbie Dalgleish has put the brakes on. Now they've all gone past, and look at that, they're all sorting themselves out back into the correct order. How cool is that? Oh, they all knew where they were. They all realised about the yellow flags and the deployment of the safety car at different times, but they've sorted each other out and got back to where they were, with Robbie Dalgleish the race leader. If anyone's in the wrong place, the clerk of the course will sort that out afterwards. But to my mind, that looked very good, mature driving from all of them. Chris Reed, bitter disappointment. 2 out of 3 non-finishes. Neither of them, you would have to say, were his fault, but the speed that he's shown this weekend, hopefully we will see Chris back with us again very soon. Safety car lights are off. The retrieval of Chris Reed's car for the second time today complete, and massive gap back. Really blocking them up at the moment is Robbie Dalgleish in 91. He was starting to build a bit of a lead before the safety car, so it's really a driver with no win's worst nightmare, getting a safety car after building a little bit of a lead. It wasn't a massive one, but it was early stages of the race. Yellow flags being waved. Watch those. Watch for the yellows to change to green flags when the cars get to the top of the hill. There's the changeover. We go green. The Celtic Speed Scottish Mini Cooper Cup round 6 is underway again, with Dylan O'Donnell putting pressure on Robbie Dalgleish. Mark Geraghty is third. Kyle Reid in fourth place. Now Reid here might sense the chance perhaps of a hat-trick, as he did in round 1 last year, and he's closing in. But look, Ian Munro immediately behind him, then John Duncan, Callum Dryborough. Behind Callum Dryborough it is Hannah Chapman, so Hannah running well, then number 10 Neil Robertson, followed by Mike Courts. So let's hope we don't get any more safety cars. Robbie Dalgleish getting on with the job of trying to pull away, and I think he's just about able to do so, because the 3 cars behind him all squabbling over position. Down towards the hairpin they go again. Dalgleish in front, then Dylan O'Donnell try and close in. So O'Donnell in the 33 car. Mark Geraghty is on the inside line, 3 wide. On the outside line goes Ian Munro, challenging Kyle Reid. Here we come up and across the line again. Geraghty has been passed by Reid. Munro's going to try and use the toe to follow him through. Is he going to be able to do it? Reid's through. Munro can't quite do it. He's on the outside line here, side by side, and Munro tries to squeeze him. Fair racing between the pair, and Geraghty holds on to position. Doesn't even run too wide on the Exeter Scotsman. Hannah Chapman does. Back end wants to come around. Through on the inside line goes Neil Robertson. Through as well goes Callum Dryborough momentarily, or does he? He's taking a tighter line. Can't quite capitalise on Hannah's little mistake and loss of momentum. He'll have to fight back. But out front now, the 91 car Robbie Dalgleish will be sensing the pressure from Dylan O'Donnell. O'Donnell here potentially, I think, with the demise of Dominic Wheatley, could take the championship lead here. If he does a win, it'll be in very good style as well. Kyle Reid still in third. Mark Geraghty soaking up the pressure from Ian Munro. You really got to take your hat off to Munro. And Robertson coming through and pulling out there was Dylan O'Donnell. He's lost a lot of ground. O'Donnell has a problem as they go on to the last lap. The race leader is Robbie Dalgleish, who is looking for his first race win in the championship. And he's done all the hard work. He soaked up the pressure. He got the car off the line in the first place, of course. So he leads. Kyle Reid in second. Mark Geraghty is in third place, on board with Chris Blackhall, looking at the rear end of Johnny Dreeland. These two dicing over 12th place. Absolute respect to all of runners, not just the front runners, but the midfielders too, who have provided some great racing. Morgan Murray is still on track, but he's a lap down and he's out of the points. So by my reckoning, with Murray out of it, Dylan O'Donnell could well take the championship lead despite his problems as well. But never mind the championship for now, because about to take his first win in Celtic Speed Scottish Minis is Robbie Dalgleish, and he knows it. He punches the air with delight and takes the win. Kyle Reid next up from Mark Geraghty. Ian Munro salvages some points in fourth place, and then it was John Duncan, who I think has taken the lead of the Newcomers Championship. He was second in the Newcomers race there behind Mark Geraghty in terms of class positions, but the race win to Robbie Dalgleish from Kyle Reid. Mark Geraghty is third from Ian Munro, then John Duncan, Neil Robertson and Hannah Chapman next up, then Mike Courts and Michael Weddell from Callum Dryborough. Dylan O'Donnell was in 11th place from Johnny Dreeland, Chris Blackwell, Taylor Shand, Alan Patterson, Andrew Bell, Morgan Murray completing the finishers, and a 6 different fastest lap setter, Neil Robertson.
Robbie Dalgleish, well done, race win. I kind of half predicted it. I thought Dom was going to get his first win, but you didn't hang around and you passed him quickly. Easy as that.
Yeah, that was my idea. I get past him at the first corner. I told you I was going around the outside.
And it just about worked.
Yeah, it paid off, and then looked in my mirror and just seen him flying across the grass. So I was like, it's going to be close to hitting me. Just missed me, and then a couple of safety cars, nailed the starts both times. Just delighted to see that
I know that safety cars must have been so bad for you, because you had a decent kind of comfy bit before the last safety car when it came out, and Kyle was starting to get a little bit closer as well. I felt sorry for you.
Yeah, I got a pretty decent gap, and then it came out again. So I knew I had to bunch them up this time to, to try to get them all to fight and then try luckily get away. So I left the restart really, really late, and then I still got an alright start away from one, and then that's exactly what happened. They all had to fight, and I just managed to disappear.
Mark, well done. Yep. Podium again, easy.
If it was only that easy all the time. No, went out there, Dominic went 3 abreast of Duffus, and as you know, it doesn't always work like that, so it was maybe a bit of cold rear tyres, back end stepped out, and he tried to correct it, and he went shooting across the grass, just missed him. Me and Robbie got clear of it, but obviously safety car came out. Robbie got a really good clean break, gapped me away, and then fighted with Dylan. Dylan got past, but I think he maybe had a mechanical or something like that, and then I seen old Kyle Reid here coming through, and I thought, I could try and either work with him or block him and push it back or try and chase Robbie, but glad to come home with third. 2 fourths and a third. No bad
good
going.
Day?
Yeah, compared to the first round where I had a DNF and a 9th and a 4th, so we are putting points on the board. So I'd just like to thank all my sponsors that's obviously helped me this year, especially Bonthron Security Services and Grassic BMW Perth, because same again, without them I just wouldn't be here, so thank them again.
Well done, you said it all. Good job.
Cheers.
Hannah, well done. A more feisty Hannah Chapman turned up this morning than we saw at the first round. Didn't work 100% your way, but you were getting stuck in, and you've got some good pace as well.
Yeah, I'm really glad today. The main thing for me was getting back on the pace. So although I didn't have great finishes, I'm driving better and I'm fighting. I'm definitely a different person from the first round. So
Kyle Reid, well done. It wasn't 3 out of 3. It was bloody close though. Another couple of laps, and maybe you could have had a chance to get to Robbie, but I think certainly the safety cars cost you a third win.
I'm lucky that I came back with a full car, and there's a lot of people out there were as well. Dominic came off on the first lap, came across the grass and then back across the track, and there was cars going everywhere. I went through the gravel, I couldn't see a thing. I just kept my foot planted, and I came back on, I think in 6th, and my brother passed me. That was the only thing I seen was a flash of orange, my brother's car again. Bit of a scary moment, but back in the podium again, a great weekend. Just like to thank my sponsors, William Nicol, Quality Foods, for all their help. Without them guys I couldn't do it.
Well done. Unfortunately that brings today's mini racing to a close, but a great 2 wins from Kyle and Robbie Dalgleish as well. Congratulations on your first win in the minis. Make sure you tune in next time for more action.